Hey guys, Denny here. Do you have a story that you want to tell? Something you can't explain? Send us an email. encounters@kyxfiles.com. Thanks for listening. Let's get back to the show.
Welcome to the Kentucky X-Files, Season 2, with your hosts Dennis Mays, Tyler Stewart, and Josh Gibbs. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, so you never miss an episode. Now, on to our show.
It was coming towards me. Just crouched down. For me, at first, I thought it was just a footage thing.
I thought it was a bear. You can tell the difference between like a small, spindly leg creature and something with a larger foot. And it was big, whatever it was. It ran straight down at us and it just stopped. And it was pitch black. Couldn't see it.
And most of these witnesses that have come close to these things could have been killed.
It was beating on the side of the house. I guess it hit the side of the house as it went by.
Now, when it stood up, that's when I knew it was gone.
Right, like I needed someone to have pure faith in a higher power at that moment, and nobody fucking did.
Welcome back, guys, to the Kentucky X-Files. Ow! God dang it.
I love it. It was unsuspecting. He didn't even get anywhere near the microphone.
I think I'm.
That was the best part.
I think that I'm gonna put my 2-week notice in right now. So yeah. What we talking about tonight? Like, I'm just saying, I brought wyverns to the mix last week.
There was a full
was a good-
range of stuff, man.
I thought
Yeah.
I brought a good.
I don't think we had enough time to talk about it, though, with Denny having to leave so quickly.
Did anybody have any more to say to that, to add to it?
I believe so.
Well, we got to comment on some of the comments, too, because we got called out. We did.
Yeah.
And I think that's awesome.
Yeah, we should definitely acknowledge that and bring him up real quick. Okay, so...
Well, I was about to say, like, do we want to get into what... I know Josh wanted to get into something. Do we want to... He said it wasn't that big, so do we want to talk about that first and get it out of the way? Or do we want to wait? Because I don't want to get into the whole dragon thing.
Well, and the one that with me is it's switching gears entirely, and it actually happened. This is kind of like this would have been a midweek mystery, but I think we need to talk about it on an episode. See, look at you. Denny's learning how to vape into a microphone.
I'm learning. Yeah, I've been working really hard to try to quit smoking.
So I'm going to start vaping between his talking, so it sounds like he's doing it.
Just you guys out there, just like don't tell anybody. On the dragons topic, a comment here came from Snowflame83 that said the frills and the venom spitting was added to the Dilophosaurus for the original Jurassic Park movie. That's just creative license. The venom spitting dinosaur on this episode of the Kentucky X-Files was a perfect example of how legends spread and get out of hand. Something added onto a creature for dramatic effect in a movie 30 years ago has now become fact.
First off, I would like to point out that he didn't necessarily have to say that Jurassic Park was 30 years ago.
Yeah, I'm more upset about that because I feel
Right.
like way older.
Right. So, like, it's unfair that you had to go with that part of it. But the rest of it, man, that's great. I appreciate it. But I did do a little research on it, and although there's nothing definitive saying it happened, there's also the collective agreement that they don't know that it couldn't have happened.
Yeah, true enough. I get what he's saying.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
I don't think we were like saying that it was a real thing, but
Oh no, I absolutely did. I don't know if it's a he or she or whatever, but I was, I specifically said that we had this blueprint already, and they're correct that we don't. That it was definitely Hollywood that added that in, and we believed it.
Oh, okay. We're talking about the Dilophosaurus or
Dilophosaur.
Dilophosaur.
Yeah.
I thought we were still. We were talking about dragon, like wyverns and stuff. I didn't know, because I don't think we didn't say that dragons were real. But
but we said that they were.
Well,
probability was there.
yeah, the
Maybe not the
probability,
fire
yes.
breathing part, but
the probability is still. I feel like it's still there, because there are prehistoric dinosaurs that can fly.
yeah.
But we just don't know. But I feel like the whole spitting thing of like breathing fire. But I feel like there are animals that do spit venom.
Yeah.
Any type of thing, and it kind of goes to show of what you were saying and what what you were saying, linguistic, like different interpretations.
Yeah, where the
'cause if
legends
something
change.
Like this thing could have been big, and spit acid in their eyes or bit them in some ways, and it said that it burned.
Yeah, and
they used that same kind of terminology.
Yeah.
Oh, it burned like fire burns me.
Yeah.
So
the translation
the
could have been off.
translation got like mixed up. So
Yeah.
I still think that it's plausible that it could have been a flying creature that
Right.
had something similar to that, but I still, I don't know. Like I feel like I'm wanting to believe that there was some type of fire breathing thing out there, but
with the histories of it,
what could have caused it to do that? That's all I'm saying.
Right. Well, with the histories of it, it's like, sure, there's a game of telephone that happens.
Yeah.
Over 100,000 years of mankind, so there's, and like we talked before, is that the translation of it might be the cause of the problem. As far as did a creature exist that flew, that looked like a reptile, that people saw, that was able to do something that burned?
Yeah.
Or is it coincidental that they added that?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
There's venoms out there that literally cause like flesh deterioration.
There's
breaks
bugs.
down the cells.
I think we said that like the Komodo dragon, its saliva will break down.
Yeah.
What is it?
It would basically it's like acid to your skin.
I realize that you're not gonna like my reference here, but the brown recluse, literally, its venom is
it creates cellulitis.
Yeah, it just deteriorates cells.
Yeah, don't they because people will get these giant welts that have holes.
Yeah.
And
then you got to get it opened up, get everything out of it cleaned, and then stuffed so it could heal.
Yeah, exactly.
This comment popped out to me too. It's not on the subject of dragons, but Archangel Ogre had said, "I'm honestly not sure why this channel isn't getting more traffic. From what I understand and have been told, sometimes it takes certain channels a while to get going, so just keep on keeping on. I mention you guys every chance I get. Hashtag KYXFiles for life."
Thank you.
You know what, Archangel, I'll tell you the absolute truth about it. I feel like the show is going to get better, and it's you guys that are going to be directly responsible for that.
Yeah.
So that's why...
Yeah. Definitely.
We're not really big. Like, it's not a huge deal to us that we're not very big right now, because you guys, honestly, I think they make it enough. These guys make it enough to be fun for me.
It still blows my mind that every Monday afternoon I'll get on there and look, and there's comments. There's people talking about what we said. It's mind blowing.
Yeah, I like it, because I feel like we actually gave somebody something to think about, get their gears turning. Especially Mondays. We always, everybody hates Mondays. But hey, this gives them something to think about and get their mind off of
And that was a big part of why we wanted to do a Monday morning show. Was dude, the worst day of the week. You're back to the grind. What can we do to make that a little nicer, a little bit less shitty? Right.
I know it's probably weird, especially with people at work to talk to about if they don't get this cryptid stuff or this unexplained stuff. But even just thinking about it, doing your business, listening to the podcast, it makes your I feel like it's more stimulating just thinking about the possibilities. How could it happen? What could have happened?
Right.
Was it paranormal? Was it supernatural? Something of that nature. And I feel like that's what's helping people, in making the people enjoy the show. And I appreciate it at the bottom of my heart that everybody loves this show.
See, and that's one thing I love about the show is even just being on the show as a prior fan is that I'm a skeptic.
Yeah.
And I love riffing about stuff, and then I think I've got a gotcha, and then it's well, what about this? And
it's damn it,
I didn't think about that.
That's the thing for me that's so intriguing in regards to specifically the cryptid stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fascinated with the cryptid stuff.
Yeah.
It's that there's always that other thing, and you're like, oh shit, that just completely undermined my whole thing. I told you guys before we started this. I told you guys what I set out to try to do the other day.
Right, and we actually, I was wishing we would have recorded that conversation because you and I were riffing back and forth pretty good on it.
Yeah. To tell you guys out there what it was is I decided I was going to make my own Bigfoot tree structure so that I could try to debunk it. And I was in my heart, that's what I wanted to do. It was okay, let's figure this out. Somehow they're doing it. Somehow these guys are getting out there and they're doing whatever they're doing to these trees. They're getting them up there. They're balancing them. How are they doing it? And I told the guys here, I was I got stumped right out of the beginning because right out of the gate, I'm okay, I need a tree. So I find me a tree, and I'm that's too big of a tree. Let's find something a little bit smaller than that. That just sounds like too much work. So I go to the next tree, and I'm this one's no bigger around than a baseball. So I'm let's try with this one. I started pushing on it, okay, I'm gonna break this thing off, and that's my start. I couldn't break the damn thing. I'm trying ass off to break this tree, and it's just no. It's just I can break all the sticks off if you want, but the tree itself, I'm okay, no. So I kind of sat back for a second, and I think I even had 5 minutes of me trying on the GoPro, and I literally sit down and look at the GoPro and go, well, this was a big waste of time. I can't even break the damn tree off. So I'm I was stumped because I'm sitting there I'm pulling up my phone, I'm looking at pictures, I'm looking at famous tree structures and the size of the logs that are in these things. And I'm God damn, I'm not even, I can't even get this baseball size diameter one to break. How the hell are they doing this?
Right.
And then I told you I was stumped because I'm they don't have roots on them. The trees are broke off. So I'm okay, so how the hell is that happening? So
right.
I got on this big kick because a friend who's local here, and I don't really know if she wants to be mentioned on the show, but she was one that sent a message over for me to check out a TV show about a week or maybe a week and a half ago. I've watched a lot of Bigfoot shows, and I'll be honest with you, 9 out of 10, I'm disappointed. I mean, I won't sit here and badmouth them, whatever, but found this one. She's you really need to check out this one. They don't do a whole lot of seasons, and they're not as popular as some of the other ones. And she's I think if you watch it, you'll see why. So I'm all right, I'll check it out. I watched Expedition Bigfoot.
Yeah.
And there's literally 2.5 seasons, and I don't know when they started it, but I started checking it out and started at the very beginning, just press play and just sat there. And immediately what I noticed is they don't exactly approach it the same way as some of the other ones. They don't come out to you and go, this is Bigfoot country here. But they come out and they go, okay, so we have an alleged report here. So we're going to go to this area and we're going to stake it out. And they do. They stake it out. And a lot of weird shit begins to happen to them over the course of their expedition, which goes on for weeks. And they film, whatever. Some of the interesting things I saw was, one was they were trying to set up camera traps, daisy chained cameras. Like if something messes with this camera, well, there's another one right there aimed at it. There's no way to avoid the cameras. The cameras kept getting triggered, but there's nothing on the camera. I think eventually there was a blurry in motion thing in one of the cameras, in one of the pictures. And there was no way to determine what it was. But one of the interesting things was caught by the cameraman. And that was another thing that I found interesting was the camera crew is treated like they're not just there to film, they're part of it. So they're basically, their eyes and ears are, it's like when they say, everybody keep your eyes open, keep your ears peeled. They're talking to the camera guys too.
Right.
And I didn't realize that because that's one of the things that always makes me kind of like,
they're being treated like sniper spotters instead of background.
These guys, they're like along this creek and they find a fish trap. I think I told you guys about that, where the fish trap or whatever. As they're sitting there, they keep hearing rocks and shit falling and like they're being messed with and they keep stopping. They're trying to like talk and they can't because it just keeps happening. And it was a little frustrating to watch because you're like, what the hell's going on here? Well, the camera guy's like, he's sitting there and they're spotlighting this hillside above. It's like a vantage point looking down. And at one point, they actually stopped and reacted to it, that they thought they saw something up there. But even the camera guy, he didn't get to it quick enough. You can actually see the shot is terrible because he actually tries and he doesn't catch it. But then as they're going forward, when they're sitting there spotlighting, there's a shadow that moves across. And to be honest with you, I've replayed the scene. I probably rewound it maybe 30 times trying to figure it out. Where the camera guy is standing, where they are, you can see that there's no light coming from behind them. They're holding the lights. The camera guy is right next to them filming. He has, he's got his lens. You can see them here, right? They're like this, and then all of this up front is lit up. A black upright figure, shadow, goes running through the light. And the light that's being casted is from their flashlights. So whatever makes that shadow has to be in between them and the wall. And you can see this clear as day. Going frame by frame on this, it's not pixelated. It's not added in. And you could see, like, they had all these plans to camp there for the night, and they dropped all that shit right after that. They literally are like, yeah, let's just go back and we'll call it a night. So you can see their reaction that it's like, maybe they're out there and maybe they don't 100% believe what they're looking for. But as the weird shit starts happening, they start to react to it. And they're like, yeah, this is, even the primatologist lady, I don't even remember what her name is. She literally is like, I can't explain that. What the hell is going on? Like, she just, you know what I mean? And again, it's nighttime, so the whole dilation thing doesn't work as well. But I started watching the show. It's a neat show. Out of 2 seasons and a few episodes into the new season they've been working on, they've probably got, I want to say maybe 5 or 6 really weird things on film. And that's another big deal for me. Is like they've actually got it on film.
Right.
The one was a thermal. They had a thermal of the thing walking. And they have a thermal recording of it walking and then vanishing. And no cut, no editing. A deer comes walking up and it stops and it takes off. And you could see this thing's big, and when they went over to do a size comparison, they could even see what it was stepping over, a big-ass log. It just steps right over it. And then it's gone, just like it just turned the light out. Also, too, is that its heat signature was so much hotter than the deer. And it wasn't like, It wasn't like putting a suit on and the guy inside the suit is hot, but the suit is not. This was, all of it was filled out with heat. So we're talking a regulated body temperature throughout this, whatever it is. But that part, you know, I know we've seen that before. The weird part was that it just, boop, gone. It like takes a step and it's gone. And then the deer reacts to it. That's what got me. It was so close to the deer. You know what I mean? And they're not like at some petting zoo. They're out in the wilderness where, you know, if the deer, you go walking up on the deer, he's going to haul ass.
Yeah, you're not getting close.
This thing was close and just blipped out. That blew my mind because I'm like, dude, we don't have anything in nature that can do that. What the, you know? Every time, man, there's always something else that comes up, you know? I get it. Yeah, it's, you know, it's a TV show. It's a TV show, and to make the show work, you got to keep throwing this stuff out. You know, you got to keep people hooked, keep people going. It seems to me like, you know, they're just kind of filming as they go and seeing what happens. You know, there's eye shine that happens in one of them where it's not even like, it doesn't even seem like it's 20 feet away from them. And it's just beet red eye shine. It's way up there, you know. And it stops them in their tracks too. They're like, that was eye shine. And you can see it you can watch it happen, you know, and yeah, they get pretty freaked out. I mean, it's a pretty interesting thing. But I've been checking that one out, been watching it. A lot of people have recommended it, you know, and apparently these guys there's another pretty famous Bigfoot show out there that I know a lot of people don't respect the show itself because it's, you know, I think there was a joke that it was called Not Finding, you know, or something like that.
Yeah.
But if you actually listen to the interviews of the people who are on that show, they have a much different story to tell than what the show itself is depicting.
Well, and they came local too.
Yeah.
They came real close to
Yeah.
where we are right now, yeah.
Yeah. Expedition Bigfoot season 2, I think. They actually go to one of the hot spots that's on our monster tracker down in southeastern Kentucky.
Nice.
Yeah, and they actually searched there. That was I think they took a foot cast there, but they didn't do it with plaster though. That was another really cool thing. That's actually what I was really interested in, was their techniques are a lot more different. You know, they didn't do a plaster cast because it takes a long time, and you never know if your plaster is moving things or whatever. They actually have a 3D scanner where they press it and they literally just go back and forth, and it builds a 3D, you know, whatever, and then they send it over to Dr. Meldrum. And Dr. Meldrum was loving it. They sent him hair samples they found here in Kentucky, foot castings, and there was like 4 or 5 different hair samples. I think 3 of them were known animals. Only one of them was an unknown.
I got a poster of him in my room.
I believe you. I know, dude, that guy can do no wrong. I really feel like if I said a bad word about Dr. Meldrum, I think Tyler would literally slap the shit out of me.
Right.
He'd go Will Smith.
I was about to say good Will Smith. Keep Dr. Meldrum's name out your fucking mouth.
My question is his poster on the walls or the ceiling?
Both.
Oh, okay.
It's multiple posters. Holy crap. But yeah, I recommend that one if anybody hasn't checked it out. And you know what? If you know anything about it that I don't, and I'm giving it too much credit, you know, let me know. Because I've watched quite a lot, you know.
I just feel like a lot of people need to know that these, especially like I feel like big TV stations, you're not going to get a lot. You're not going to get a up and close personal encounter like shot.
Yeah.
Because I feel like they're looking for ratings. They just want you. They're probably filling a slot.
Yeah.
On their
Well, the longer you drag it out, the more money you can make off of it.
Yeah, that's kind of like what I'm saying. But you got to understand, like,
that's true.
Maybe these people, what is it called, Expedition Bigfoot?
Expedition Bigfoot. Yeah.
Maybe these people are more into the whole fact of actually just looking. Like, there's always that chance that you're never going to get constant sightings.
What was it,
because especially if they go to some of these, like, alleged sightings,
Yeah.
you never really know if it's a true sighting or not.
That was the thing they did was they entered in, like, I think it was like 10,000 something alleged sightings by location, and rather than pattern them out, they basically let in a machine, use an algorithm to determine the best time of year and location for the most probability to find one. And it's amazing that if that's true, that it seems to be a good way to do it. But what blew my mind was their one season got cut short because of wildfires. So they had to literally pause everything. When they came back, they'd all kind of did their own thing. The one lady on there, she's a pretty known primatologist. She actually came back and she said that, I had kind of a surprise guest and I wanted to get her opinions about it. And she brings her back out, whatever, and she turns it on and it's Jane Goodall, and she starts
amazing.
She starts asking her like, hey, she told her, what did she say? A lot of people have, said that I'm taking a big risk by even being involved in this subject. And even Jane Goodall said that, the most important thing you can do is keep an open mind. That the second we think we know everything is the second we stop learning. And that she started talking about, she was talking about when she went out and first started learning, how she was ridiculed by the scientific communities, and she didn't challenge them at all. She just kept doing her own thing, and eventually they started to kind of come around to her, like, oh, okay, well, what you're doing is, So they broke the question as like, well, what do you think about this alleged creature? And she said that she was she was kind of on the fence, keeping an open mind that, hey, we don't know, I don't know about Bigfoot, but apparently there might be this unknown primate, and that in itself is enough to warrant going and investigating. Because if it's an unknown primate, we need to know about it. But she said recently, though, she'd sent out messages to these different tribes that are all like really isolated or whatnot. Not, forgive me if I'm paraphrasing, poorly here, but she ended up saying that like 3 or 4 of them got back to her and said that yes, we've seen the tall man or the tall monkey, but we usually just leave him alone. And she said that response was what made her kind of go, well, wait a minute. They're talking about it like it's just a nonchalant, it's whatever. It's, of course we've seen them, you maybe crazy. You know what I mean? Like, right. You haven't seen him?
He's huge.
Yeah, he's really big, But everybody always says the same thing, just leave them alone, they leave you alone. I don't know. It's one of the things, it's like, I like that this show is not really promising you anything. They're just like, hey, we're going to do our best. We're going to see what we find out, and hopefully it's good.
I feel like that's what we're trying to do here. We're giving speculation on a lot of things, like how they could migrate, like move around, like how can they exist and be unseen for so long. So, but that's the whole point, is like, we don't know, right, but we're trying to look. We're looking for it.
I thought, who was it that told me that? Somebody had given me a theory, which I thought was brilliant. It was something along the lines of like, perfect adaptation. Everything on Earth evolves, and whether we like it or not, everything kind of evolves around and with us, and against us and for us, whatever. Like bacteria, bacteria does its own thing, and if it can take advantage of something, it will. It's ruthless, right? But someone had said, like, how many animal species out there have evolved to avoid us? Because whether we like to think it or not, we are a force of nature on this planet. Nothing has killed as much as we have. We've destroyed shit. Mm-hmm. I mean, think about that. We've done so much, and only recently, have we learned that, hey, some of these animals that we're looking at, they work a little bit differently than we thought.
Well, think about I know that I'm bringing this back, but we're not taking our cues from movies, but remember that part in Lost World? It's so weird. Why is he not scared or anything? Well, man hasn't been to this island. Has nothing to fear, man. It's not to fear, man. And then he shocks the shit out of it.
Right.
Now it does.
Right. Yeah.
So
How many
it
things
knows.
have evolved?
You know for a fact it probably knows what a T-Rex is, or you get what I was saying. Like animals that seen this killing machine day after day know they'll know, like, okay, avoid that. And that's how we evolved ourselves. How many times do you think Bob was playing with a bobcat or something like that and got mauled? We stay in the tree.
Yeah.
Bob died because he went down and played that thing. That thing with.
He was here a second
Yeah,
ago.
he was here a second ago. Like, so we need to stay in the trees.
Yeah.
When they're around. So we're no like any animal species. We're no different from them.
Well, what if there was, a species of mouse that has been here as long as us and knows that we will kill it at any turn if we see it. So they just stay out of our sight. They stay hidden. They're aware of us. It's aware of us like a disaster. We're something to be feared. We're something to avoid at all costs. And then the whole theory was basically that there's animal species out there that have evolved with us as basically a force of, something that's affected their evolution, something that they've had to adapt to, And in this case, in regards to this cryptid, the Sasquatch or whatever, how would something this big be able to do that if it wasn't brilliantly adapted to avoid us? And can it do that with other animals? And like I said, watching that video clip of the thing just blip out, and then, a few seconds later, the deer just hauls ass. I'm like, that's interesting. Yeah, that's really interesting to me. What did the deer just get spooked by? Was it, or was the deer spooked on purpose to get them to follow the deer away with the camera? You know what I mean?
That's putting a lot of instinctual, actions.
Oh, dude. You remember when I said a while back, how I was making fun of people who were going out in the woods knocking on trees?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You remember me saying that? I started keeping that in mind as I started flipping through these shows and I started watching. Dude, every time. They're like, yeah, let's knock on this tree. We're going to get a response. Then they, they're like, oh, yeah, I think there's something up here moving. They get a knock from back here. Everybody spins around. Did you hear that? We got a response. And then when they turn around, whatever they heard is long gone. And I'm like, in my opinion, if he's trying to get you guys to look away while he skips town, he's doing a hell of a good job. His buddies up here, like, shit, man, they're about to find Joe. I better hang on. Give me a stick. Dink, dink, dink. Watch, they'll all turn around. They can't help it. Look, yeah, here, see, they're looking. They can't even see us. I don't even know why they do it. Look, here they go. Okay, I see Joe. He's getting it. Okay, cool. He'll knock once he gets out, far enough, and you know what I mean. Meanwhile, we're down there with our cameras, our lights, being stealthy.
Right.
In the middle of the night.
Dumbest looks on her face, like.
In the middle of the darkness with cameras and lights, trudging through the forest as silent as we can with like 8 people. Dude, I don't know about you guys, but I can't walk through the woods without at least tripping on one thing.
Right.
There's rocks, there's leaves, there's sticks.
There's like roots coming out of the ground.
It's the,
Yeah, it's the forest.
It's the forest. That's what happens. So
Not
I'm
only
like,
that, we're not exactly the most graceful creatures.
yeah. So I'm literally watching all this unfold, and I'm like, dude, maybe there's something to this. Maybe this tribe has learned to just avoid us at all costs.
Hell, we do it to ourselves.
Yeah.
How many people do you know that just avoid people?
I Yeah.
The look on your face tells me
I
that
was
you,
an introvert for.
Yeah.
Still, kind of an introvert. I mean, I do live out in the woods. You know, I've spoken to my neighbors like 3 or 4 times in the past 6 months or so. I guess I don't know. You know, I wave. I'm like, hey,
right.
You know,
I'm the same way.
Yeah, it's introverted.
I talk to my neighbor twice a year.
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
It's good. We meet up in the driveway, have a conversation. All right. It's good talking to you.
See you in 6 months.
I'll talk to you guys.
That's what I'm saying. It's like,
yeah,
we're elusive. I don't think
because you're in my tribe.
That's it.
Yeah,
we're gonna go out.
I'm forced to talk to a lot of people because of work.
Right.
You know, and that's part of it. You know.
Yeah, I get that.
You got to talk to people. You have to. That's part of the job. You know.
Yeah.
But when I get off work, man, I am just tickled pink to come here and not go anywhere.
Yeah.
You know.
Not go anywhere. Chill out.
Yeah.
Relax. You know. I get that.
Yeah.
It's peace. You know. It's peace of mind.
Yeah.
Especially like I feel like everybody can like relate to this. Like when you finally do go out and you actually feel like a Sasquatch, where like somebody's like, "Hey, you!" Oh,
you freeze.
You freeze, and you're like, maybe if I don't move.
Right. I mean, I go so little, like leave here after work. It's ridiculous. I got 2 trucks for those that are listening that don't know me. One I use specifically for work.
Yeah.
And then the other one is my personal truck that that's what I call it, my personal truck, you know, because it's not full of company tools.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know. I own both trucks, but
it's not full of work stuff.
It's not my work truck, you know, so to speak. And I can fill it up on a Monday and the tank will last me a month and a half, 2 months.
Right, because you're not driving it.
Because I'm not going anywhere at all. You know? And that's saying a lot. You know, it's diesel prices are expensive, but that truck only uses like $60 every 3 months because it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's like it's to me it's not too far of a stretch to think that there's a tribe out there that's just a lot more. They're just more, built around staying out of sight, staying hidden. I mean,
I think if they are out there, there's definitely a lot more hoax than there are the real thing.
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't know how many of our listeners are gearheads, but I'm going to liken it to the small block Chevy. Literally everyone on for sale sites is a Corvette engine. I'm fairly certain there was 9 times Corvette engines made than Corvettes themselves.
Right.
It's kind of the same thing as you've got the one that is a real Corvette engine to this 9, Caprice engine.
Yeah,
the same with Bigfoot.
exactly.
You've got the one real story to the 9 fake stories.
I totally, dude, I'm completely on board with that because
Yeah.
some of the claims I've heard of I've said it before, how many there is out there, I don't believe it.
Right.
Not
And
even
you
a
and you
second.
can't really follow like the quote unquote the pattern to it, because if they're reading the stories, they're going to repeat the stories.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it all works the same way.
Right.
It's the same with the alien stuff. Aliens were little green men until the gray aliens hit Hollywood, and then all aliens were gray aliens.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's
it shifts as
it shifts with pop culture.
You almost can't, like, when in regards to the alien thing too, you almost can't for like the flying saucer thing. That's been one that's bugged me for years. The flying saucer. And I'm like, okay, flying saucer, I get it. I mean, it's not exactly the best design for in regards to physics, but
right, it's a pretty terrible design.
It's it is what it is.
It's all cutting edge with no tailwind.
Yeah, and then
Well, it all depends on like the actual.
there's this the one that's been going around though. The big
triangle.
The big triangle.
Yeah.
That one would suck too if it was like squarish, like because
Right.
we never know like how it's actually designed.
Yeah, but
because no one's actually. They've always seen a black triangle, but like all the drawings that people are like putting up, it's more like a triangle, but it's like it has right angles, but like that's.
Yeah, but most of the encounters are at night. It's a black triangle. They see the lights in the triangle pattern. What if it's shaped like the stealth bomber and it's incredibly efficient flying?
Yeah.
Well, that's the shape, but I was like saying that the sides of it was like flat surfaces and then right angles.
Yeah.
It's more squarish on the sides.
In the drawings, yeah.
Yeah, in the drawings. I don't know if those are somebody's interpretation of it or somebody just embellishing, saying this was what it
Right.
looks like.
Every video I've ever seen that's supposed to be the black triangle,
Yeah.
you don't actually see the black triangle. You just see the lights in
The
a triangle
lights.
in a triangle pattern.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, if it was like more bubble shape or like kind of oval shape,
Yeah.
it went to points and it was a shape of a triangle, I
See,
could say that would be a good shape for
I think that once
ship?
we have a better understanding of say 0G dynamics, you know what I mean? Because I mean, if it's floating around here, if it's floating around our planet, doing whatever it's doing, then I mean, to me that seems like that's like the minority of this thing's purpose.
Right.
The majority of its purpose should be navigating through space.
Which does not require aerodynamics.
Doesn't require aerodynamics.
Otherwise, the International Space Station would be collapsing into the planet as we speak.
But if you were to travel through interstellar space, there's all kinds of unpredictable things that could happen to you. You might want something that's structurally able to make it. And then there's the other thing. Traveling through interstellar space in itself is a stupid way to do things because there's a lot of bad shit that can happen to you.
Yeah.
But causing a singularity and then zipping through it real quick, you would need something that would be like a honeycomb. It would have to be built to withstand that.
Yeah.
Because in a singularity event, there's going to be a massive amount of gravity, right? That could potentially just crumble you up like, a wad of paper. However, if you had a better understanding of a singularity and the forces of gravity that would be at work, and you caused one, you could go anywhere you wanted to if your ship could survive it.
Right.
So a giant triangle, this thing could be a pyramid.
A triangle is a very strong shape.
It could be a fucking pyramid. We're just not seeing the top of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. When a pyramid is just 3-4 triangles leaned into each other.
Yeah. Imagine a pyramid honeycombed with some machine inside that causes a singularity whenever you need it to. You could be on the other side of the universe and be like, all right, everybody strap in. I would imagine they'd be in some kind of chamber with some kind of liquid, something that could, absorb the forces that would be at work, something that protect them more. And then, boom, singularity. Somebody has to program it. Here's where we're going to go. Here's what we need to do. Here's what time we need to do it so that we can be closer to this little planet we're going to go look at. Boom. It happens. Probably takes them a long time to come out of it. I can imagine the side effects alone of coming out of a singularity would probably take decades to recover from. So, I don't know. I mean, to me it's like, hey, the big triangle floating around. Yeah, I still think it could be a pyramid up there. We're just not seeing it. Maybe the government's seeing it and they're freaking out about it.
Yeah.
What the hell is that? Don't know. It's been here for years. You know what I mean? Can't do nothing against it. Nothing works. If you could harness gravity, to travel, done. Dude, ain't no weapon on this planet gonna hurt you.
Right.
What's it gonna do to you?
Well, that if you can harness gravity, then you control time.
You control time.
Well, I think we said that a while back ago on an episode, saying that's the reason why some of these people are losing time when they said they seen the ship.
Did we talk about it on an episode, or was that when we had that 3-way FaceTime call?
No, that was with
because we did
Dave.
talk about this.
Yeah.
I thought it was with Dave because he
true.
said he lost time in that episode, and
that's what sparked this whole chain of thought for me. Was
because we were talking about it on the phone afterwards, and I was like, well, we were like saying like gravity is like what makes time basically time relevant. Like actually, that's how it works. So if it's like floating over you, depending on like the surface it can like produce, like if it's high up in the air and it's like, and you're literally under it and you feel it, and it's like time, you're basically in a time warp for that.
Dude, in all honesty, if they were able to, if they had the technology to cause a singularity, they could cause a singularity, and if they knew how to maneuver it, they probably could walk down to the ground, grab you, and walk you up to it.
Basically, you're catatonic,
and nobody would be the wiser for it.
You look like a mannequin.
Yeah. And they could take you wherever they needed to go, do what they needed to, and then drop you back off.
It's basically kind of like how the Flash works, like almost.
Yeah. He's
moving so fast, he's basically defying gravity, and everything is moving slower than he is.
Yeah.
But that case, but I still don't like what's like coming back to it. How would that? If they have some type of gravity engine that's working, why would we be able to see it? Like if it's controlling it, I don't think you would be able to see it. It would basically,
maybe they're just being polite. They're giving us time to decide if they're there or not.
I just don't understand why throw that crumb out.
That's a great 13th.
You know what
reference.
I mean?
I just don't get it. Why would they throw that crumb out? Why would they?
Because maybe them being a secret is not as important it is to them as it is to our government.
Okay,
our government's like, oh God, no, the masses.
But don't you think they would, if they don't give a shit,
right?
Why don't they just land somewhere and say blah 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 and just take whatever they freaking want?
It's the same reason why. It's the same reason why in certain parts of town, you just don't go there. You know,
they have no idea what's going to happen.
You're okay with existing, but you may not want to exist in this space because you don't know what could happen. Like, you know, like would you want to just poof yourself into the middle of the Serengeti?
I feel very similar to what his opinion is right there on that, except for my point of view is thinking more of along the lines of, you ever seen oceanologists? You know, like they go down in the high pressure subs.
Yeah.
Okay, they get all the way there, and they're looking at these incredible creatures that a handful of people have gotten to see. Mm-hmm. Would you want to jump out of the sub? No.
Right.
But what if our atmosphere? Maybe it might not be the mixture. It might not be like our air is poisonous. What if the pressure of our atmosphere is not right?
Ooh, they could like explode or implode.
I'm just saying, like, if they can make something that can produce a singularity to get themselves here, they have a suit or something. I'm just saying they have some type
maybe it's a situation where they're trying to assess what they need.
Well, and I'm just saying, and another thing too is I'm saying this in a whole in a way that they're not thinking how we are. Especially people of scientists, like science nature.
Yeah. You're not going to build a ship like that to come all the way to destroy somebody.
Or...
You're there to study.
Or, just like Jane Goodall. Do you think she went in and just bombarded into...
Yeah.
When she was searching for, the truth for her? That's...
Yeah, she
observed. Like she observed from afar.
She didn't sit down in a circle and start picking bugs.
Yeah, so that's
she sat back.
If she did, though,
so basically, yeah, it's... In science, I feel like, if anything, the reason why they're so elusive, if they're actually being visited by aliens, it's because they're trying to...
I hate to say it, but too, the probability also leans towards if they're here to assess and to study, it doesn't bode well for the whole universe.
But does it or doesn't it?
Well...
Because Jane Goodall didn't kill a single gorilla.
No, I don't mean it in a violent way.
Oh, okay.
I meant it if they're scientific and if they're out studying and learning about different places, different whatever, it could mean that we're on the tail end of the universe and that life is, again, for the second time, precious. So there's not that many.
So in a way, not to be biblical on this, you think that they might be taking specimen, taking DNA or something from people and making their own ark.
I look at it more like this.
It's kind of like when the Earth stood still.
If the universe is what do they think, like 15 billion years maybe in the universe, expansion.
Yeah.
Eventually it's going to stop expanding and things are probably not going to go great for everything in the universe.
I thought our sun's not that old.
It's the sun in the solar system should be around what, five something billion years or something like that. Another 5 billion years, the sun will expand, and that's that for this solar system.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. Like, so we should be, shouldn't we be
if
fine?
we're on the tail end of that, great, gigantic amount of time, then there's probably countless civilizations that have come up and failed because they didn't take steps towards certain things, like, hey, leaving the solar system and finding another place where it's not going to explode in a fire.
So, okay, then if they're that curious about the whole thing, like studying wise, why don't they help us?
That's why I think they're studying, to try.
That, or they're checking to see where we're at in our timeline.
Yeah.
Maybe they're from a further point out.
But I feel like this would be any species, especially an intelligent species. We're always going to be violent. There's always going to be some type of violence. So
there has to be.
I've always like people have always said the reason why aliens haven't visited us or like they haven't shown themselves or showed their technology is because of how violent we are. We kill each other. We destroy our environments and and that and the other thing. But I'm like that's a given. I feel like every species,
every ecosystem that ever
would
existed,
they build themselves up into a certain way, and then they're like, oh, so I feel like I've been a little bit too harsh on my fellow humans. Or
while I agree 100% with what you're saying, which I do, people are shit. I mean, flat out, people are shit.
We are very violent. Like I said, very violent people.
There is one thing to consider though about the people that are shit versus the people who have the best of human nature in mind.
Yeah.
Think about just the travel aspect. Okay?
Yeah.
So the most terrible people typically do not expand their travels as far as the people who are the good people who are trying to help humankind. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yes, we have rockets that will leave our atmosphere and come back in and blow up an entire country.
Yeah.
But those same people that have those rockets are only focused on being able to do that.
Yeah.
While we have people that are on an international space station together, much further out.
From all different countries.
And then you take the depth and the same idea. Yeah, we had U-boats in World War II. We have submarines. But the submarines that are checking out like around the Mariana Trench are designed to go a lot deeper than war subs. So there's got to be a circle that this is where the bad people go, this is where the good people go. The good people go further. So maybe if what we're seeing right now is, if there is a possibility that they are coming to check us out, maybe it's the good ones. Maybe the bad ones haven't got here yet.
Yeah. I always looked at it like that if they're here to check us out and study us, my first thought is, originally my thought was like, oh, that's not good for us. But then the more I thought about it, I'm like, okay, wait a minute. If they came all the way here and they're floating around and they're checking things out and they're doing things, that means that they know a lot about the rest of the universe. They know how this ends for a lot of different civilizations, countless civilizations in the past. And we never know how many they didn't get to in time.
Yeah.
Or they are masters of a singularity and they have come back from closer to the end. And if they've come back from closer to the end, why?
And another thing to think about too is there's a difference between the ones who study and the ones who are there for reconnaissance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I know I say it way too much. You know what I mean? But I
say like too much.
The people that who are all self-aware now, the people that study creatures do not hide themselves. They are out in the open. Whatever they're studying knows they're there, but they keep their distance to study.
Yeah.
Whereas the ones who are out doing reconnaissance, you might not even know they're there.
Yeah.
They don't want you to know that they know what you know.
Yeah.
But we know.
So if we're seeing them, exactly. So if we're seeing things, then obviously they're not trying to hide as well. Does that make sense? I feel like my thoughts are here, but I'm having a hard time getting them here.
Where my joke was before for the 13th Warrior quote was like they're letting us see them.
Yeah.
Giving us time to decide if they're real or not.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it's a joke, but it's.
I was just another thing too is like I hope that Dave doesn't hear this part because it's a little creepy on the fact. Remember, how, like we're saying that they lost time because of gravity, like they're manipulating gravity as they fly over.
It doesn't necessarily mean that they took them.
But that's what I'm saying, like because he lost time. But think about that: if they actually just like, came down, he's like looking up, like in slow motion. They pick him up, like back into the, and then they're like.
He could have just been
Touched him a
underneath
little
the
bit,
thing when they
not
were
inappropriate, and then like
Dude, I mean, a theoretical engine that could cause a singularity, just being around it, would be enough to lose time. They could have just been starting her up and heading somewhere else. You know, it would have been enough to lose a few minutes. Like, what the hell just happened? You
so,
I think you would hear it.
Is anybody else here a huge Futurama fan?
I'm not a huge fan, but I've watched
not watched
of
enough.
them.
So I have seen an absolute crap load of episodes, probably all of them. And there's one episode where they're talking about the Planet Express ship and to why it can move the way it does.
Oh yeah, I've seen that episode. Yeah.
And it's not that the ship is fast. The ship doesn't move.
Yeah.
The ship has enough power to move everything around it away from it. So the ship sits still and moves the universe to where it wants to be.
Okay.
So if the singularity event that this machine can, create and control gravity.
Yeah.
If you were outside of the area in which the ship controls and it was working and moving, even at a slow pace, if that's its entire means of propulsion, then everything around you would be going at a different rate of speed and time than everything inside.
Yeah.
And maybe that's where time loss comes from.
Right. Because that's the whole
It's
theory of conflicting a conflicting singularity is going to produce a small field of gravity surrounded by another normalized gravity, and there inside that is where you take point A and point B and you bend them to meet. Looking for out there listening to this, if it's confusing, just check out the Mobius strip. It's a very, very simple like diagram to show you how the ribbon just bends time and space.
Yeah, it continues. It's weird.
Not breaks it, just bends it for a second.
What was it? It's like that other movie. Was it Sphere or not Sphere? I think it was with. What's the lady from Silence of the Lambs?
Oh, Contact.
Yeah, Contact,
Yeah.
where she was in that little ball.
She was only gone for a second or two.
Yeah,
but
because they dropped the ball and it went through whatever. Like I guess they produced a black hole or something.
that's the singularity.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, they produced the singularity and she dropped and like she went through that whole thing. I haven't seen it in a long time, but by the time she got back, she just dropped. Like she basically fell through it in our time.
Yeah,
she just fell from the top of the thing down to the bottom. But she actually went through a total
right.
Like yeah, so I can see that you're moving, technically you're moving, space and time.
Yeah.
But not the ship itself.
Yeah.
Would a ball be a good type of ship? Because
a sphere would be pretty decent for, I guess. I mean, it's universally kind of.
I just feel
the way gravity kind of settled.
Yeah.
Everything's more or less round, more or less sphere shaped. Sorry, flat earthers.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I'm sorry.
The egg shape would be better.
Yeah. Well, actually, you're right. The Earth is more of an oval, isn't it? Yeah.
The ellipse is the stronger of the. The circles are strong. Don't get me wrong. The circle is really strong.
No.
But the ellipse would be, first off, it's more aerodynamic. You're just going to have less problems with heat on the leading edge.
No.
And it's incredibly strong. It's a round triangle.
It's
the best of everything.
I just thought a circle wouldn't actually have a real point to put any type of pressure on. That's all I was like saying.
Maybe it would
it's
flex. Maybe that's the point of the triangle or the pyramid is to. Maybe you have to build something that kind of challenges the universe's natural order of things. You know, like
okay, I don't want to get into this because I
I'm just
do
saying.
not know this shit.
I don't. I mean, I don't either. But it's spitballing. You know.
See,
it's
I
like,
just learned that a
is
freaking
great.
black hole is a singularity. I'm an idiot.
they're one and the same. you
But
know?
that's what I'm saying. I didn't know that. Like,
There's a black hole. There is now a theory of gray holes.
I just want to let that, like, you know, like the only
Finally, a
I've
gray
only
area.
heard the term singularity
Right.
was from Event Horizon,
And then
and that's the whole thing because he talks about folding time.
what was it? We've discussed this before when we talk about this stuff. Is they actually had some kind of evidence of something flying right past a black hole without being sucked in and destroyed.
Yeah.
So
I think Tyler brought it up.
So
Yeah, because I saw it on the.
what was the shape of the thing? Do they know?
The way I. Okay.
If it's a big ass triangle,
Okay, I don't want to say it's a triangle, but my brain is picturing a triangle. But I don't know if it's because we said triangle like 600 times in this episode.
yeah.
So I want to say it was a dot. Let's just put it that way. They were looking through the the telescope, and they saw the black hole, and they literally saw something just like come out the other side, and they were baffled. They're like, "This should have been gone.
Yeah, it should have been destroyed.
Like there's nothing. Like nothing can withstand a black hole. Like you're gone.
Unless you create
Unless you're
a second singularity to.
unless if you're another black hole.
Yeah. If you're another black hole,
Would
technically.
they cancel each other out? So it would basically cancel each other out?
The amount of energy. I mean,
Or would it work like magnets?
Like they have a negative and
So think of
positive?
like a magnet train, you know. So
Yeah.
if this has got the black hole singularity event and this has it, the amount of energy as they go past, would they attract, or would they repel?
what if you were riding around on the wrong magnet and get sucked in twice as fast?
But what if that was the means in which they used to speed travel? Is you zip past those, and it's, you know, it's a booster.
I mean, you know, look at what they're doing over there with the collider. You know, they're accelerating particles so fast that they're literally able to pass through each other.
Yeah.
You know, how fast do you got to be going to get your ship to pass through stuff? Do we have to plot a course around all that? Nah, just get going fast enough. We'll go right through it. Won't even notice it. That's insane.
Yeah.
How the heck would you be able to do that? Like the heat alone, because wouldn't it cause a lot of heat?
Yeah.
To do that. How would you even make a ship out of that? You would have to basically tear yourself apart. In itself.
I hate to be it's aliens guy on this one, but that's the beautiful thing about things that are not of this earth, is they may or may not fall under the rules of this earth.
Always as we know it.
It's always as we know it.
But there's a lot of stuff out there as we don't understand it.
Right.
I always wonder too, because you know there is stars out there, that are big enough to contend with a black hole.
Yeah.
That blows my mind. What happens when one of those stars meets a black hole, or does it? Is it affected by it? Are they just? Do they? Who pulls who?
Does it just plug the hole?
What happens when that star is so much bigger than that singularity that the singularity can't overtake it? What if it becomes part of that star? What if it gets pulled in? You know, there's just so much, you know. If there's scientists out there, chime in, please. Yeah. Give us the answers.
Educate us, please.
If
please
you're a
help
scientist and you stumbled across this because you were just bored one night,
yeah,
because
we're curious.
Yeah, we're curious.
We're curious little fellas.
Yeah.
We want to expand our noodle, and I feel like our viewers will too. It's like they'd be
definitely.
Like, huh?
We're coming.
You
up
got
on
something there, scientist.
We're coming up on our hour already.
We are.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I didn't think we were going to talk about aliens tonight.
I love it.
I like it because it's just.
It went from a little bit of dragons sprinkled in there.
Sprinkle some dragons on.
Mm-hmm. A little bit of Bigfoot.
A little bit of Bigfoot.
A little bit of Bigfoot.
Yep.
And then aliens.
Yeah.
Top it
Towards
with
the tail end.
aliens.
And then we didn't talk about nothing what Gibbs wanted to talk about.
That's
So
true.
Dude, yeah,
We suck.
What I can do is I can just throw it out there as a little teaser for all the listeners to look at it themselves, because there's so little information, and it's so weird that anybody listening is going to go, no way. They want to look it up themselves.
I really
Talk
want
about
to
it,
know.
because I want to hear.
Now I'm like pissed. Like,
So I can go through this really quick with you guys. I'm going to take us on a little journey a year ago.
Yeah.
Almost exactly a year ago.
He's producing a singularity.
To Nova Scotia.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Magically whisked away.
Our friends up north.
Iowa.
Okay.
Where 24 seals washed ashore, decapitated.
Just
Do they look like bite marks?
They look like that.
What the?
Their heads are gone. Some of them are disemboweled. 24 of them on a single rocky beach. Seals.
what the?
Right? So when I stumbled across it, there's another picture.
What
The spinal columns, some of them were ripped out of the bodies. Some of them, the heads were just laying next to the bodies.
So
Nobody knows what exactly happened.
what the hell? I mean,
Okay, what did they use? Like, okay, I've always heard the whole term clubbing seals. Like, what did they use seals for?
They've already ruled out the hunting because there's nothing that's been harvested from the bodies
That's
that
what-
makes sense.
That's what I was just asking.
So it's not
you.
hunting.
So it's not hunting.
No.
And it couldn't have been a predator, because why would it not eat anything from
Exactly. So it's not a shark, because a shark would have
it? Or a
consumed.
whale, I thought a whale would. Isn't that seals? Killer whales like main
Yeah, killer
food?
whale. But yeah, the killer whales.
he's gonna eat it.
He's gonna
he'll
eat
eat
it.
it.
They'll play with their food, but they're gonna eat it. And again, they're not gonna decapitate 24 seals
And not eat it.
and not eat us. And all of them be just decapitated or disemboweled, and their spinal columns pulled out of the bodies, and the heads laying next to the bodies on the beach, like they washed up together.
The only other thing I could say is, like, some kids they saw the dead, like they're dead. They just decapitated him.
Herein lies the problem with that, though.
Oh God. Okay.
Okay.
These beaches aren't public beaches. In Nova Scotia, people have riparian properties. Riparian is probably the wrong word for it. That's when you own property on the river's edge. But they have waterfront properties in Nova Scotia, which means that people would have had to have come up on private property to do this, because this is what happened, is they were discovered on private property.
Huh. Okay.
Right?
Wow.
Aliens.
All of the fisheries in the area have flat out ruled out hunters, because it doesn't make any sense. And they can't come up with a predator that would have done it.
Yeah.
But it started out, they found like 11 the first go, and then they found like enough to make it up. I think it's 22 is what they came up with.
Wow.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, just going from a like humanity point of view here, why would you do that to a seal? I mean, have you ever looked at a seal? That's a water dog, man.
Right. Sea lions. Yeah.
It's a water dog.
You
You ever looked at their little faces?
what do they harvest off of it? Is it the blubber?
Yeah. A lot of times it's the oil and the blubber.
Yeah. It's like,
So yeah, like
is there a big demand for whale blubber now?
seal.
Or seal blubber? I mean, what's
like-
the market like for seal blubber these days?
I've always heard the term clubbing seals. It's always like
I always thought that they were out partying.
clubbing seals.
Yeah.
Right. So either we've got a really catastrophic oceanic event that is tearing the heads off of seals, or we've got a really group of sneaky, just degenerates that are doing the worst thing you could imagine possible.
I'm gonna lean towards that right now, because it makes no sense for anything other than like no predators. You said there was no bite marks or anything for it to.
No.
I just never why would, if you're a predator and you bite off a head, why would you?
I'm gonna dig into this one too.
Yeah. Well, and the neck on a seal or a sea lion is the weak point.
Another thing too is how strong do you have to be to rip that spinal cord out too?
Right.
Like, cause it's not it. Okay, I'm just saying this. We might have a predator on our hands. Maybe like a junior, and he's like, "Hey, I'll just
I'm gonna start with some seals.
I'm gonna
and
start
work
with
my way
seals
up.
and then work my way up to humans.
That's terrible.
Right.
I mean, if you know,
We need Danny.
He's
Glover.
got like a little baby shoulder cannon.
seals. Always gotta be seals. Getting too old for this shit. You know, it's like, I don't know, man. I'm still kind of like, why would you do that to a seal? I mean, you ever just looked into their eyes?
Right.
They give you high fives at the zoo.
They do.
It's like,
I like seals. I really do. You know, I never told anybody this, but you know, every time they show the seals getting hunted by the killer whales,
yeah.
I'm always like, man, I hope he gets away.
Yeah. Oh
You
yeah.
know?
Same here.
I'm like, no offense to the killer whale, like he's got to eat, but still, it's like there's got to be more of a shittier seal to go after.
Right. See, to me, seals are just water pit bulls. Have you ever seen that where they do? It's like, is it a seal or a pit bull? Like,
Yeah.
Side by side. There's like
What
12
about-
pictures.
Yeah.
I love
What
pit
about
bulls. They're
penguins,
great
though?
dogs.
Seals eat penguins.
But think about, like, you know, have you ever looked at penguins? You ever looked into one's eyes?
Yeah.
Does it make
Lifeless
you?
eyes.
Yeah. Does it make you feel
Doll's
like
Oh, baby ones look cute.
they are? You know, I seen a thing where, getting off subject a little bit, but I did see a thing where male penguins will come up and give a rock to the female as a kind of like, hey, you know, this
I
is
like
for
you.
you. I like you, and the female will take the rock.
Like
And
wiping off the.
I actually offered my wife. It was last night. I actually offered if she wanted me to, I'd go out and I'd get her some gravel from the driveway and bring it to her. And you know what she said? She was like, "I would take it.
Same way. If
Yeah.
I brought her a rock, she'd be excited.
Like, I got you this."
I hate you guys both. I
Just-
have no one.
I'm just saying.
I'm just going to bring a rock to myself.
You should just get a
Sure.
rock and keep it in your pocket, just in case. You might meet that special girl, and you'd be like, "I got you this." And if she's excited about it, then you know that's the one.
If you can give a girl a piece of granite and she's excited, she's
Yeah.
the one.
She is the one. Yeah.
Just
That's what I'm
saying.
Yeah, dude, I'm
Did
with
you
you.
guys both say that at the
We
same
might have,
Yeah.
and which
Just
made
saying.
made it more powerful.
I'm
Yeah.
just saying, I'm tearing up right now.
Yeah. But why would you do that to a seal?
Right.
God damn it.
Okay, I feel like we're all going to start crying here, so let's just.
I led the episode to a dark spot at the end, and
You
I'm
know,
sorry,
it's
but
okay.
hey, I had to see it, so y'all got to check it out too.
You know what? This just made me like I'm in. I'm gonna research this too. I want to. If this is a bunch of, like you said, degenerates out there doing this, then God damn it, we should bring them to justice.
Damn degenerates from up north.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn it.
I can't.
This
Like
is
you
messed
said,
up.
like, yeah, see, like, killing a seal seems
It's a
really
little
shitty.
seal. They got little whiskers.
But I'm just saying, like, if you're not gonna you're not harvesting it. You're not. It's nothing. You're not doing anything with it. Don't kill it for no.
Did you see that little video where the lady's sitting there and the seal comes up and lays on her lap? Did you see that?
No, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, he just, you know what? He's like, hey, I like you. I'm going to lay on your lap. You know, why would you do that to a damn seal? You know what? Let's get out of here.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't want to talk about this anymore. I'm going to research
Denny
this.
home because he's
Oh, I'm
he's upset.
furious.
Yeah.
I'm furious. This is bullshit.
Right. I hope it's a catastrophic oceanic event and not degems from up north.
I hope so too. Because
Because I feel like we're going to go up north.
if there's some people up there hurting seals, I've never been so goddamn livid in my life.
Well,
Next thing you know, they'll be picking on Canadian gooses.
and we don't want that.
Don't even start with me on that. Yeah, let's get out of here, man. Let's end this. Sorry, folks out there that you had to sit through this. They just listen to us because they feel sorry.
Yeah.
They feel sorry for us.
Keep in mind, folks, too, today is April 4th, the day this is airing, right?
Yeah.
Which means later today, we're going to be announcing the winner of the knife.
Yep. So that's exciting. I'm sure by
Yeah.
then we'll have picked our winner, right?
Yep.
Because as of the recording right now, we don't technically have a winner yet,
Not yet.
but we will.
Right.
So that's going to be fun.
I can't wait.
I don't know how we should. I don't even know how we should go about that. Like if we should do it live or just film us picking a winner. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But you guys will see it. It'll be fun.
We can't make up our minds about anything.
Yeah, we never. Yeah,
We
we're
never do.
indecisive.
You guys know
Why
that.
would you do that to a seal?
Right?
Why are you looking at me like I
need
did
comfort
it?
right now about this. I'm upset. All right, I'm livid.
I'm gonna go buy him candy.
You know what? If you guys out there, I always tell you, take care of each other, but take care of the goddamn seals too.
Yeah.
You know, don't decapitate a seal, man. What are you thinking? What do you think?
It's terrible.
That's not right. I would never do that. I would never hurt a seal. I like seals. It's like a little baby turtle.
Water dogs.
Would you hurt a little baby turtle?
Okay, bye, guys.
All right, take care of each other.
Take care.
Save the seals.
See ya.